Hi. I really want to talk about Dresden Files with spoilers, okay? So I reread the first two books in the Dresden Files, which is Stormfront, book number 1, followed by Full Moon, which is book number 2. I am currently reading Grave Peril, which is, of course, book number 3, and I am loving it so far. I'm about a third of the way through and just absolutely loving where the story is headed. Okay, so I have spoiler-free videos on my YouTube channel where I talk about both these books, but you know what? There are just things that I am so desperate to talk about, and I cannot do it without spoilers. So this video is mainly catered to those of you who have already read and experienced these two books. Although, maybe for a very small population of those viewers who don't mind spoilers, I'm actually not one of those people. I love going into a book pretty blind. I do like to have a general idea of what the story is about, but I don't want any spoilers. I don't want to ruin any of the storyline for you. So if you are here, please be aware that you will encounter some spoilers of these two books, the first two in the Dresden Files. So if you have read these books, you are in the right place. I'm so eager to talk to you about these two wonderful books. I love these books. I gave them both 5 stars. If you want to hear more of my general thoughts on these books without spoilers, I will drop a link below in the description box, or you can peruse my channel. I have a lot of content on Dresden Files, including summaries. So if you are on your journey of going through the Dresden Files, there are currently 17 novels out, but there are a couple other short stories that fall in this series somewhere. So I will have a ton of Jim Butcher related content on my channel. So go take a look if you're interested, but I will drop some links below in the description box in case you're looking for something other than a spoiler review of these first two books. Since there are 17 currently out, book number 18, 12 months, is coming out January 2026. So I am planning to be ready. I have 6 months to get through the rest of the books. So every time I get through the next 2 books in a series, I plan to do one video review with spoilers because otherwise I'd have a lot of spoiler videos. 17 and almost 18 next year, that's a lot. In the event you have only read Stormfront and you have yet to read Full Moon, I'm going to start with Stormfront and I will give you ample notice before I jump into Full Moon, just in case you haven't had an opportunity to read that yet. And before we get into it, don't forget to hit subscribe. I love this channel. I love connecting with readers and I would be happy to have you. So without further ado, let's start with Stormfront by Jim Butcher, which is Dresden Files number 1. Okay, you probably know the deal. Harry Dresden, professional wizard, works out of Chicago. He deals with the supernatural, and he's on retainer with Chicago PD, and when something supernatural or something strange occurs, Karen Murphy, which is the head of special investigations, contacts Harry and asks him to help solve the case. We have a double murder, and Harry suspects it is due to a black mage, so that's where this one takes us, and I loved it. Within the very first chapter of this book, I love, for some reason, I don't know why, I hope I'm not the only one, I love that Harry is reading a paperback book, and when he's done with it, he tosses it into a dun box. So I had to. I created my own dun box, so just for fun. I don't know why I like that part so much. I just did. I'm a reader and I've never thought to do anything like that. And I love that he is just in his office, casually reading and tosses a paperback into his dun box. Again, I don't know why I liked it. I just thought it was quirky and it was fun. Now let's talk about Harry as a character. I love Harry for a lot of reasons. Number 1, he's really funny, but also number 2, he is imperfect. He is not the perfect hero. He has moments of, dare I say, cowardice? Yeah, I think I dare say it. First of all, do you recall that he actually has an internal battle with himself when the toad demon shows up and Susan's at his house? Harry very seriously considers leaving Susan to die. Yeah, oh yeah, he considers it pretty heavily, but he decides to do the right thing and he decides to fight the demon, even though the odds are definitely not in his favor. So I love that he kind of battles with that and thinking, okay, here's the easy route. Here's what will likely help me to survive, but here's the right route. And after some contemplation, he decides to take the right route. But I love that it is in his mind and that he has to make a conscious decision. It's not effortless of, oh, I'm a hero, I'm going to do the right thing. That's not real. Harry, to me, Harry Dresden, he is real because he struggles with that. Also, there is a small inclination for Harry to choose the dark side. Okay, remember that showdown with Victor in the very end at the lake house? And he decides, you know what? I can snap my fingers and this will all be over, but I have to take the dark magic route. He thinks about it, and he contemplates it very seriously, and he doesn't. He takes the white magic route and he does the right things, but I love that he struggles momentarily with light and dark. Again, makes him very real. Also, have you noticed that he's attracted to pretty much every female character in the story? I think that's so funny. He is a gentleman, he is old-fashioned, he loves opening the doors for women, but he can't turn off that attraction he has for pretty much every female character that appears in Stormfront. Can I also say that Harry's attire cracks me up, or lack of attire? Okay, I love that he wears a duster. That's like his thing. That is his thing. Okay, also, can I ask this? Almost in every cover of every book of the Dresden Files, they picture Harry wearing a hat. Not ever, to my recollection, is he ever wearing a hat. So what am I missing? I thought that was so weird, but I have all the rest of the books up here. Every single one of them, yeah, he's wearing a hat. Every single one, he's wearing a hat. Is he ever described as wearing a hat? I don't think so, unless I just missed it. Whew, maybe. But I love that he wears a duster, and don't forget, during the battle with the Toad Demon, Harry is naked because the demon appears as he is in the shower. His hair is full of soap suds. And yeah, he's fighting naked. And that to me is just hilarious. Also, when he's down in his lab in the basement with Bob and Susan is like all over him because she had the love potion, he is completely naked and not immune to the advances that Susan is making on him. Jim Butcher had a really wonderful way of describing his physical excitement for how Susan was making him feel without just being gross and raunchy. I really like the way that Jim Butcher paints the scene without being overly descriptive, and let's just say he did a good job. He led me to where I needed to be without being gross and obscene about it, you know? As always, Bob cracks me up. I want to know more about Bob. From the little that I know, he's like an air spirit or something like that who lives temporarily in this human skull. When his eyes light up, they flare orange, but he can be released when Harry grants him the freedom to roam about. And Bob is a horn dog, and that kind of cracks me up. Also, the Volkswagen Beetle, that thing cracks me up too. I think Harry calls it the Blue Beetle, even though that thing is not blue. That thing is so far from being straight up blue. That is a mishmash of colors. Actually, I think I've tabbed the area where he's talking about it because it cracks me up. The Beetle isn't really blue anymore since both doors have been replaced. One with a green clone, one with a white one, and the hood of the storage trunk in the front had to be replaced with a red duplicate, but the name stuck anyway. Mike is a super mechanic. He never asked questions about the burns that slagged a hole in the front hatch or the claw marks that ruined both the doors. You can't pay for service like that. Okay, let me say this about Jim Butcher's writing. I just think he has a wonderful balance of telling me and showing me what I need to see without overdoing it. We've all read books from those authors that go, oh my gosh, okay, you don't need to describe every single little detail. Let my mind fill in the blanks. Give me some freedom to at least fill in some of the holes, you know? I think Jim Butcher does a wonderful job describing the physical attributes of his characters as well as painting the picture of the scene without overdoing it. Whenever I read about where Harry is, like his location or his physical features, or when he's describing somebody else, I go, okay, perfect. I can picture it perfectly. I love it. And that's a very rare ability as an author. I feel like authors err on the side of just overdoing it to where readers walk away feeling annoyed, frustrated, impatient. Jim Butcher doesn't do that. My last and final thought about Stormfront is more of a question that I don't want you to answer, by the way. It's more of just me talking about it because I don't want to forget it as I'm making my way through the rest of the series. But He Who Walks Behind. Who the heck is that? I don't really know much about this person that is following Harry. Harry's very aware of the presence. It sounds like an old enemy of his. Maybe his old mentor, Justin. Maybe Elaine. Also, what is Elaine's story? I don't know. She is mentioned sparingly. I know she exists. I know little to nothing about her. But somebody, an old enemy of Harry's, had put this He Who Walks Behind on him. And I don't know. I'm so curious. I'm so curious to find out more. Also, I would love to know more about the history of Harry's parents. To Harry's knowledge, his father died of an aneurysm and died in his sleep, and his mother died giving birth to him. We don't know if that's actually how they died, and we actually don't know if they were good or bad people. I'm assuming and hoping that they're good people because I think Harry's a good person. I like Harry. I think Harry's a great character. So I'm so eager to find out more about all those people I just mentioned. Mom, Dad, Elaine, and Justin. Like, what the heck? Oh, and He Who Walks Behind. Who are those people? I'm sure Jim Butcher will lead me there eventually, but I am feeling incredibly curious. Okay, enough about Stormfront. Let's move on to full moon. Let me start by saying that Jim Butcher did a wonderful job reminding me of certain things in a way that's not overdone, because I am reading these books back to back. Now, that's got to be a difficult balance for an author to find, is how much do I remind readers of? Because if you're actually reading them when these books come out, which, by the way, Stormfront came out in the year 2000. This is a 25-year-old book, and Jim Butcher's still writing them. I think that's incredible. But say it's the year 2000. You read Stormfront. You wait until 2001 when Full Moon comes out. An entire year will have passed. How much do you remember? And how much does Jim Butcher have to remind you? I think he did an incredible job of reminding us of the things that we need to know without going through an in-depth explanation of XYZ. I'm not an author, but just that thought alone is very daunting. Like, this is probably why I would never even attempt to write a series, because how much do you go back and remind readers? I don't know. What's the balance? I'm sure there's some great advice out there. I just don't know what it is. Anyways, Jim Butcher does it right. He gives you enough to refresh your memory without being annoying about it and being like, oh my God, Jim, I know, I remember. I know who Bob is. I know who Mr. is. You don't need to give me much more. Also, Kim Delaney appears in chapter 1. She doesn't come back until she dies. And I love that Jim Butcher drops little nuggets like that along the way. People who are easy to forget until they resurface. Dead or alive, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But it was so funny because I remember the first time I read Full Moon, I read the first chapter and then I totally forgot about Kim Delaney. She doesn't reappear, and I don't think she's even rarely mentioned until she's freaking dead by a werewolf. She was trying to help, by the way, but she bit off a little more than she can chew. Oops. And Harry feels so regretful that he didn't help her. But honestly, when he goes through the back and forth of, should I help her? Should I not? I think he kind of made the right decision. He didn't want her to hurt herself. So I know he feels regret because he wanted to protect her. And really, that didn't work out so well for Harry. But I understand his decisions. Even if it wasn't the right one, I understand why he did it. Okay, so let's talk about Harry's character once again. He's still so funny. Harry is so beat up this entire book, like pretty much from the beginning to the end. He is just beat to hell. He is so beat up, but he still finds a way to persevere and to keep going. And Susan takes him and the Alphas and Tara West to a fast food drive-thru. Harry happens to have a paper crown that he connects and puts on his head as he's about to eat his burger, and he declares, I am the Burger King. That was so silly to me. That was so funny. And I mean, don't forget, this dude is just, he is probably concussed. He's not doing so well physically, probably not emotionally either, but he still has his sense of humor intact, and it's so wonderful. It's so funny. There were so many moments where he just cracks me up. And again with the attire, oh my gosh. When he takes that blending potion that Bob helps him brew, and he ends up wearing Mike's coveralls, which are too short in the arms and the legs, he probably just looks ridiculous. It's so funny. Oh, another thing that cracked me up is Harry is in that Full Moon garage, and the Alphas, along with Tara West, are trying to help Harry escape. And so the paw prints are coming from underneath the floor where Harry is sitting, and he starts smashing the paws with a wrench. He's like literally batting away the hand that is trying to help him. Well, the paw that's trying to help him. And Tara West hisses from the outside, Harry, would you knock it off? We're trying to help you. And it's just so funny. Yeah, I could picture that scene very, very well in my mind. The trend of Harry still being attracted to all the women that appear in the book, yeah, that continues on in book 2. He cracks me up with Tara West because he could appreciate a beautiful woman. That is for sure. That's for sure. Tara West. Yeah, there is a moment where he meets her at a gas station after the whole showdown with McFinn, and she is naked because she had just transformed into a human, and Harry ends up being a gentleman and giving her his duster. And he's full of regret because now he can't admire and appreciate, and it just cracks me up. It's so funny. If we explore the downfalls of Harry's character, he seems rather unwilling to confront certain things. Elaine, for example. His subconscious has to have a conversation with his unconscious self and pretty much tells him, Harry, you know Elaine's alive. You've been pretending to think that she is dead, but she's still out there. And that is very unnerving to Harry, and he's unwilling to come to terms with it. He's also not really willing to talk about what happened with his old mentor, his old teacher, Justin. When Bob brings him up in book 2, he's very impatient with Bob, and he's kind of an asshole to Bob when he brings it up. So yeah, Harry is definitely not perfect, but my God, I love the guy. It's so funny. He's a gentleman, he's funny, but he definitely has his shortcomings. To continue on with some of the shortcomings of Harry's character, Marcone presents an employment opportunity to Harry, and Harry considers it because Marcone offers him a lot of money for not a lot of work in exchange. Marcone wants to employ Harry, and Harry briefly considers it. He thinks, wow, I could easily make my rent. I don't have to worry about money. And he thinks about it, and even when Marcone offers to sweeten the deal and says, hey, I'll take the pressure off of Murphy. Internal affairs are really after this woman. I will get my men on it, and she will be free of that. And Harry gets angry with Marcone and everything that he stands for. But we can't ignore the fact that Harry has considered his offer, especially when it was presented to him a second time. And he was in a very dire situation, like probably about to die. So even then, he does the right thing, and he tells Marcone to pretty much go to hell. Oh, I gotta say, this book, this Full Moon, has some of the very best action scenes that I have ever read in my entire life. And it is so back to back. It's like the moment Jim Butcher gives us a second to breathe, we're thrown into action again, where Harry has to fight a freaking loop-guru, one of the like nasty werewolves. So I gotta say, the scene at the PD, whoa, that was such a good one. The one where Carmichael dies. I gotta be honest, I really wasn't too bummed about Carmichael's death. He was never necessarily on Harry's side, but the thing that kills me is Carmichael was just coming around to Harry, and he said, oh, I was almost rooting for you, dude, as the underdog. This is when Murphy turns on Harry and decides to arrest him. And Carmichael goes, oh man, I was getting ready to root for you, dude. And then he freaking dies. It sucked, but I wasn't heartbroken, I guess. And then the last action scene of the book. Okay, so we have Harry, who is battling Nick Finn, who is a loop-guru, a werewolf. And he's facing off the loop-guru, and then Murphy steps in between them, and the loop-guru is behind Murphy, but she's facing Harry, pointing a gun at him because she's actually trying to shoot the guy behind him, which is Agent Denton. Harry's unaware of what's behind him, Agent Denton. Murphy is unaware of the loop-guru behind her, and that whole thing, like, what a cluster. It was so fun to read about. It was so fun, and this whole scene, Jim Butcher did a marvelous job of describing it to where I saw it perfectly. And in my head, I'm like, wow, this is incredible, because Harry takes off his amulet, he's whirling around up atop his head like a helicopter, and it's emitting this blue light energy, and it's just so phenomenal in my mind. And then we find out later that Susan had recorded the whole ordeal, and Harry's watching it back, and he goes, oh wow, it looks like I'm just waving around a glow stick. That was so funny to me, because in my mind it was so majestic, it was so awesome, and then to have it chalked up to, oh yeah, it looks like this crazy lunatic homeless guy whirling around a freaking glow stick. That was so humorous to me. That was so funny. And might I say this about the romance? These are not romance books, but there is an element of romance that is definitely present. It's definitely not romance heavy, but in this book, we have a really nice sex scene between Susan and Harry. It's towards the very end of the book. Susan treats Harry with tenderness. She is cleaning his wounds. She's just being very gentle with him because Harry's beat to shit. He really is. And after she's done cleaning him up, they have a very nice romantic encounter. Let's just say that. I gotta say, Jim Butcher does it very, very well, because he doesn't over-explain what's happening. Again, allow me the creative freedom to just kind of fill in the gaps. You don't need to give me every little detail, but he did a good job of describing the intimacy of the moment, and it was just nice. It was sweet, and honestly, it was a bit of a breath of fresh air with all the romantasy that I've been reading. Let's just call it erotica. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of erotic scenes in modern day romantasy books, and this was just a nice change. It was well done, it was tasteful, and I really appreciate that. So thank you, Jim Butcher. I'm only a third of the way through Grave Peril, so I don't know what the rest of the books bring. It's not going to be Susan and Harry. It's just not. I feel it in my bones. I feel it. It's not her. And I've always thought that. You know who I think it is at the end of this journey, which I don't know how many books Jim Butcher plans to make of Dresden Files. I'm assuming 20. Book number 18 is coming out soon, so maybe he has a plan for a 20-book series. I don't know, but at the end of this thing, I think it's Murphy and Harry. I could be totally wrong, but Harry makes his little comments about Murphy. He's definitely attracted to her, along with all the other females, but there's something special about Murphy. They're friends. Well, don't get me wrong, they go through their stuff. Murphy distrusts Harry a lot. Harry's given her a reason to. He holds back a ton of information from her. That's not fair, Harry. You shouldn't do that. Come on. Anyways, that is my prediction. Harry and Murphy. I don't know. I feel in my heart that is what is destined to happen. Can I say that I think Susan's gonna die? I don't know why I think that. Maybe because she's reckless, because her job means a lot to her. She's damn good at her job as a reporter, and she will go to really great lengths to get a story, and I think that's gonna get her killed. I don't know. I could be wrong. Don't tell me, by the way. I'm just talking because I'm talking. I don't actually want the answers. I will discover the answers on my own when I read these books. Oh, and really quick, the poor alphas. Tara's kids that she's teaching, they were useless in this book. Oh my gosh, they were so useless. And poor Billy and Georgia, they're so eager to help. There's such a sweet moment when Harry has a conversation with Billy and he's like so eager to help. And they were useless. They really just kind of got in the way and they were a liability. And for some reason, I kind of like that because you know what? That's the reality of it. If they were these badass wolves that really contributed to the overall outcome of the story, I think I would have felt less satisfied. I don't know why. That's just how I feel. Kind of curious to see if Tara West comes back in future books. I don't know. She is an interesting being. The entire way through Full Moon, I thought that she was a being from the Never Never, which is actually not true. She is a wolf who shapeshifts into a human. So that was pretty cool. And Harry even has this moment of realization in the end. And he goes, oh, of all the things that I knew, of all the transformations that I've been made aware of humans transforming into wolves, I've never thought of the opposite. So, doy. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I love the Dresden Files so far. I've rated both of these books 5 stars, and so far, I can't talk about it now because I haven't finished it yet, but so far, it's a 5-star experience. I'm really interested in what's going on. There's a lot of action so far, and I just love it. So if you have read these books, please talk to me in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. I get a lot of comments from the fans of these books saying that book number 1 and 2 are the weakest, and I don't understand. They're great. Okay, I say that in ignorance because I have not read the rest of the series. I can give a better opinion once I read all 17 books plus the short stories that are out. But as of right now, I'm like, what are you talking about? These are so great. These are so fun. I don't get it. But you know what? To each their own. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Anyways, I hope you found this video insightful. I was gonna say insightful. It's not insightful. I hope you found this video entertaining, I guess, or interesting. If you're a fan of the Dresden Files, I hope you talk to me. Are you as eager as I am about 12 months coming out January 2026? I hope you are, and I hope to be ready. I have my whole reading plan outlined for the rest of the year, and all the Dresden File books are on them. So I hope I'm ready for 12 months. If not, I will be very, very close. I hope that you love Jim Butcher's writing. This is not his only series. He also has another series out. I think it's called Codex Alera, which I've also heard really good things about. I'm determined to finish my Dresden Files journey first before I venture into other works by Jim Butcher. All right, I think that's all I have to say about these wonderful books. I really enjoyed them, both 5-star experiences. I hope you're reading something great. Don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to have you. If you find yourself in need of summary videos, check out my channel because I have summary videos. And every time I read one of the Dresden Files books, I will be cranking out a summary. Man, I have to take a lot of notes because Jim Butcher jam-packs these little novels with a lot of stuff. So check it out. That way, if you run out of time to reread the entire series, or if you don't have time to listen to the audiobooks, check out my summaries. It might be helpful to you because there are a lot of details that he kind of strings along throughout the journey, and they're very easy to forget, especially because he doesn't badger you with them. If you forget, he'll remind you in a subtle way later. So don't forget to hit subscribe. I'd love to have you, and thanks for giving this video a watch. I hope you're reading something great, and until next time, I will catch you on the flip side.